Live maggot or dead maggot? That is the question. Today I've come to Stillwater Back Lake. I've just cast out. One rod's on the deads and one rod's on the lives. We're going to see what happens over the next 3 or 4 hours. Cast out at 8 o'clock in the morning. You can hear the rush hour traffic's going up the Blackwater Valley behind me. There's a few fish moving. Haven't been able to get in sort of like the areas I wanted because there's 2 other very good bream anglers on here. I can see both of those, so I can keep an eye if they're catching, but I'm not disappointed at all actually, because I've come over on the far bank where I did a video fishing the waggler last year. If you haven't seen that, you know, take a scroll through all the videos I've done, because that's quite an interesting one. And the reason I'm not unhappy is we've got a southeasterly wind and the wind is pushing over here. So I've done exactly what I try and preach and follow the wind. It's not right in my face and it's not a cold wind. Actually, it was 10 degrees overnight and yesterday was the hottest day of the year. I think I saw on the car 21.5 degrees. There's a few fish moving. I wouldn't say they're bream, a few bubbles. So yeah, I'm quite confident of a few fish, but will it be on the lives or will they come on the deads? Let's wait and see. Well, the time is 8:50 and my first bream. This is a tiddler for here, but I haven't seen the other guys catch anything. And this one came on the live maggots. Only a small one for here, probably about £5, but I always use lives here. So I'm happy with that. Always said I'd prefer lives than deads. And there we go. First one, lives 1, deads 0. Let's see what else happens. Okay, so it's about 9:20 now, and my second fish, my second bream, slightly bigger than that first one, but still quite a small one for here. There you go, probably about £6 that one is. And that one came, once again, to the live maggots. So we'll see if we get another one. If we get another one on the live maggots and nothing on the dead, then I might have to change. But cracking bream. March the 21st I think it is now, and that breeze is pushing lovely in my face, albeit a southeasterly, but at least it's in my face and it's a lot warmer than it has been over the last couple of months. Straight after that second fish, same rod again, live maggot, and another bream's come along. Obviously I'm in a shoulder smaller fish here, but once you catch 3 on the same bait, when you're trying to do a test like I am today, then you can start making an educated guess that there's something in it. So I'm going to explain what I'm going to do next, get this fish back, get the rods out, but I'm just going to switch it up a little bit. Okay, well, this is where things get a little bit interesting, because I've had 3, you know, half decent bream quite quickly on a right hand rod fishing the maggot, the live maggot. One little bleep on the dead maggot. Now, before I go changing my rig and thinking I've got a really bad rig on the left hand rod that's fishing the deads, all I'm going to do is switch the rods over, because most people would assume that there's more fish on the right hand side of this swim than the left hand side, and I'm pretty 95-96% near enough confident that that isn't the case. I don't think they're either not on dead reds, they prefer the lives, or I've got a bad rig fishing the dead reds. So I've swapped my rods over. If we get one on the left hand rod now, then obviously there's nothing wrong with, you know, the rig or the side of the swim. And then what I will do is change that rig over, or I'll put deads on the rod that's producing and lives on the rig that hasn't been producing. But you have to find out and work out why one rod's working, one isn't happening. And if you want to catch more fish, you simply have to get both rods moving. Well, if you decide to come down the lake and do a test like I'm doing today to see if live maggot outfishes dead maggot, then you've got to have, you know, obviously you're using two rods, so those two setups have to be exactly the same. So when I first got here, I got some ground bait out of the freezer that was just dampened down a little bit. I like to use a ground bait mix that's quite dry. I'm using the Dynamite Robin Red, and in that I've put lives and deads. So everything I'm casting out in the feeder is exactly the same on both rods. I then put my marker sticks out. If you want to learn about marking up, clipping up and wrapping up, then again there's a video dedicated to that on the YouTube in my library of videos. So I've got my marker sticks out and I just wrapped up to exactly 11 wraps. So both rods are fishing at exactly the same distance. Little bit of elastic, put that down by the line clip so it doesn't interfere when I'm casting. Cast out, hit the clip, lower your arm, nice straight line, unclip, rod down. So I'm using the same bait in the feeder. I'm fishing at exactly the same distance, and my rigs that I make up myself are exactly the same, using the same components. So everything has to match, you know, each rod has to match each other. So I'm happy with my rigs, I'm happy with the distance. The only thing that is different is I've got 3 reds on one, live ones, and 3 deads on the other. So it's about 9:30 now. It's gone a little bit quiet. I've had 3 bream on the live reds. I've switched the rods over so the lives are fishing on the left hand side and the deads on the right, to determine whether it's, you know, the side of the swim I'm fishing, although I am casting to the far bank marker and I'm within, you know, I don't know, 3 or 4 yards of each of those baits. So 9 times out of 10 it's not that the fish are feeding on one side of your swim. It's either that your bait they don't want to actually pick up, in this case the dead maggot, or the rig you're using, although it looks very similar, might be working completely different and, you know, not looking natural to the fish. Oh, and there we go, we've got a bite now, gotta go. Wow, a little bit quiet that last sort of 20-minute cast spell. I was just about to recast the rods, and yeah, you've guessed it. Actually, you haven't, because it was the actual dead maggot rod that went off. So it's now 3 to the lives, 1 to the deads, and 4 bites to the right hand side of the swim. So as I said, 9 times out of 10 it's your rig, not the side of the swim. But I've never ever said I got the answer to all the questions. And I'm guessing Ian's enjoying watching me wrestle with this little bream. But there you have it. Bream number. I bet you're actually your pants now. Bream number 4 to the dead maggot. As I say, that's got the old grey matter going now. So I never work in, you know, think it's just that side of the swim again. I'm going to just keep the rods as they are. If I get another 3 or another 2 on the right hand side, I know it ain't my rigs, I'm just going to have to move that left hand rod to the right, or both rods further to the right, because it might actually be that side of the swim. There we go, it's bream number 5. This one came on the left hand setup to live maggots. Why are you so lively at this time of year? Probably the biggest of the morning, at probably about £8 that one is. So yeah, I'm going to switch and just change my rig over now, the one that's been fishing the dead maggot, to see if I can get that kind of acting or getting a few more bites on it. So yep, fish number 5, 4 to the lives, one to the dead, 4 to the right hand side and 1 to the left. So yeah, all coming together. Well, it's about 10:30 now, and the rods are quite quiet. In the last sort of like 45 minutes I've had one on the deads, one on the lives, but that was about 40 minutes ago. And what I've done is the rod that was fishing the dead maggot, I've actually bought in, I've changed the rig, I've tied up a new rig, and I've also started using live maggots on that rod. So both rods are now on live maggots, and the rod that wasn't getting many bites only had 1 on the dead maggots. I've changed that rig, because when you go fishing quite often, one rod will be working better than the other, and in my kind of case I want to get both rods working. I want to get as many bites on both rods as I possibly can. So always good to like tie up a new rig. It might not be working for you. Always good to bring lives and deads, because deads do have their day, as you saw a few days ago at Badshot Lee when I was catching on deads. Only a couple of fish, but I'm thinking if I was using lives I might not have caught that day. But today on this lake especially, I've always used lives. Don't get me wrong, I put a few deads in the ground bait, and I'm always confident. I just look at the live maggot and I just think, if I was a fish, which I'm not, you know, it looks more appetizing than 3 kind of like drained, skinny dead maggots. The dead maggots I've got here as well, you smell them and you can smell the dead maggot, where the lives were nice and, you know, fresh. Don't get me wrong, my deads were fresh in the freezer, but to defrost them there is a little bit of a taint there, and if I can smell them, the fish can smell them. But saying that, they worked for me the other day. So it really is what you're confident in. And on this lake, you know, I'm happy using live red maggot, you know, 9 times out of the 10. But if I do get down and I'm really struggling, I'm thinking conditions are good, I should be catching, have those deads and just give them a go. Well, it's 11 o'clock and everything's gone really quiet. It's just that time of the day when the fish just stop feeding, and if they're not, you know, if they're not feeding, you're just not going to get a bite, or you're not going to get many. I'm sure if I stayed here for the rest of the day, or, you know, I'd get the odd fish throughout the day, and then it'd probably pick up in the evening. But this time of year, very short feeding spells. Yes, you know, if I could have got down here at 6 o'clock and fished till, let's say, 10 o'clock, I would have caught a lot more fish. But I'm just putting in a few hours, you know, around my schedules and my time. But 5 fish, 4 on the live maggots and 1 on the dead. You can take and make what you want from that. So it's nice to come out and have a little experiment now and again. I haven't seen the other guys catch anything on the lake. We've got this horrible easterly, southeast wind, and although it's a lot warmer, it's quite comfortable today. We're probably talking about 12-13 degrees now. I could sit here for quite a long time. First hour and 3 quarters, I had those 5 fish. The last hour and a quarter, I've not even had a bleep. I've tried, you know, changing the other rod over to a new hook length and maggot, but some would say, oh, the fish have moved on out of the swim. They're not, they're out there, they're just not feeding now. So hope you enjoyed the video again. Please remember to hit that subscribe button, and please make some comments, and I will try and answer some of your comments in video format. So tight lines, keep watching, hope you enjoyed, and see you very soon.